SkyFront is an upcoming VR multiplayer first-person shooter in zero gravity with grappling hooks. I figured this was going to be a non-stop vomit fest. Thankfully, I was wrong. Here are my thoughts on this new game. So the devs of SkyFront supported a charity live stream that I did a couple weeks ago to support the Hurricane Harvey and Irma victims via a charity called Direct Relief. They presented me with 30 keys to give out. Thank you so much again to those developers. As a result of this, I was able to play their game a couple weeks before it came out, and I'm able to give you a pretty good idea of what to expect. Now that is with the disclaimer that some things are subject to change. There may be more content that is added before the game actually fully releases, and so this may not be a complete and total picture. So with that in mind, let me call out the limitations that are in there right now, and so that way you can compare against what actually releases in the early access version of the game. So in the version that I've played, there are 3 weapons. You have a pistol, you have an automatic rifle, and you also have a rocket launcher. In addition, you also have a tool that allows you to zip around inside this zero gravity space, as well as use a grappling hook. There's also only 1 level that I've been able to play at this point, so if the game releases with more content, keep that in mind that this review should be updated. So if the game comes out in a couple weeks with more content, understand that I have not yet reviewed that, and so this is just what I've seen so far. All right, so let's talk about the good first. This game is a lot of fun, plain and simple. You're flying around in zero gravity in this really nice minimalistic type setting. You have sort of like Greek era style architecture that you're zooming around, and you're able to move very, very quickly without getting nauseous. If you didn't see my review of the game Detached, you'll understand that zero gravity games make me a little bit nervous, because that one, it was a little bit uncomfortable for me, to say the least. In this one, you are fully open in this very wide open space, so it seems like the only time I really have a hard time with zero gravity is whenever you're in a tight enclosed space. This one, you're well open, you're able to fly up, so there's no issues whatsoever with nausea. Another huge point in favor for this game is that the flying feels good. It is so much fun. You're able to have either one tool out, and it's kind of like it looks like a gun, but it's not a gun. It allows you to zip around, and it just propels you forward. And you can have one in both hands, so if you want to go twice as fast and then switch to your pistols and shoot something real quick, you can. And so whenever you're flying around like that, it is where where your weapons or your tools are pointing, and it feels really, really good. And if you're flying with one hand, you can just keep on pointing up with your pistol in one hand, and you can shoot around, and you just feel awesome while doing it. In addition, that tool has a grappling hook, so you're able to move around even quicker, and it is highly recommended to do this while fighting because it makes it really hard for your enemies to keep track of you. I also want to call out that the weapons themselves and the tools are really, really pretty. Okay, I don't need crazy over-the-top, geometries and all these things, but this is like the textures, the quality of these things, even though there's not insane amount of detail to it, it feels clean, it feels good. I really, really like the art style that they chose for this game. The combat itself is also very well done. In addition to just having weapons, you also have some boosts and power-ups that you're able to use. One of those, actually I think there's only 2 right now, there's 3 right now. You have a shield, you have sort of a shockwave that can go out and do some damage and push people away, and then you also have a heal boost. And you can map 2 different abilities to each controller, each with their own separate cooldown. So if you want, you can have 2 different heals or 2 shields. It's really just however you want to play your character. That adds some very good dynamic to the game, to where it's not just whoever sees the other person first, wins. Like in Hover Junkers, if you get me with a couple pistols, I can take out most people. 2 headshots with a pistol, they're gone. In this game, even if you get, I guess I can still technically do the same thing, it happens a couple times. However, if you only hit 1 time, they have enough time to press their shield and zip away and heal potentially. So it makes it to where it's not just a boom, 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 in the battle type situation. The battles are a little bit more prolonged because those shields, those heals, it allows you to escape situations that in a lot of other first-person shooters, it's just over. Now there are a few concerns with that because the shield pretty much seems like it is a requirement to play. Anytime there's a required item, it just, I don't know, I like more balance, I like more diversity in how I'm able to choose my character. The fact that everybody has a shield, it pretty much means that you have to have a shield too, otherwise you're dead. So I'm hoping that they take some of these changes and sort of balance them and play with them over time. All right, now while I enjoyed my time in this game thoroughly, I do have some concerns. Concern number 1, this is a multiplayer first-person shooter title, which means that in VR, you are going to have a difficult time finding somebody to play with after the first couple weeks once the game has died down. Sadly, this is just sort of a thing that is in VR right now. It is getting better, but it will take some time before we actually have games that can persist long-term. Onward and Pavlov seem to be the 2 games that are really breaking this mold. So I'm worried that this game is going to die out. So get this game if you have friends to play with, okay, it is, as it is right now, okay, in the release that I have, there is no single player element. Now, I will say that in their notes, they say that there is going to be about 6 to 8 months of development on this title, and they say that before they release the final game, before it actually goes out of early access, they do plan on having AI and some other single player component. So if that is the case, that will change that tune completely, but as it is right now, this won't be a title that I expect will be able to be really enjoyed about 6 weeks after it releases, unless you have a group of friends to play with. Concern number 2 is, as of right now, there is not a lot of content to this game. As I said, there is one level and just a few different weapons. In their notes, they do say that before this exits early access, they are going to have several more levels, several different game modes, and more weapons to choose from. How they actually release this title coming out of early access, I think, is going to really make or break this game, because as it is right now, once you play it for about 30, 45 minutes, there's not really a whole lot left to it. So those are my 2 biggest concerns. The rest of them that I have here are sort of nitpicky. If they get through those 2, this game is going to be awesome. However, I do think that it is going to kind of demand a relatively low price point whenever it comes into early access, and then hopefully they will escalate it before it finally exits early access. As it is right now, $5 to $10 is probably the most that I'd be really willing to put into this right now, with how much time I expect I would play with it, especially in light of the fact that it is a multiplayer VR title and the fact that there's really not just a whole lot of content right now. One other note on that topic before I move on to the other little things that I have is that if you don't have a group to play with, there is a link in the description below for my Discord channel. Come in, join. We have almost 1,000 people in this Discord channel now, so there's a pretty good probability that if you don't have friends to play with, you can find them there. All right, now other little nitpicky things that are just sort of worth calling out. There are a couple of things that are a little bit uncomfortable with it. For one, the grappling hook, while it is incredibly fun to play with, seeing other people grappling hook right now is kind of uncomfortable, because you kind of see them zip away and then they disappear for a second and then they come back. It kind of looks like they kind of like rubber band away, like the game, like my client thinks that it's still going, and then they come back, so they kind of like clip through walls. So that needs some refinement, very clearly. I expect that this is one of those things that will just probably even be fixed before early access even starts, but as it is right now, it's kind of uncomfortable, but it's okay, because once you know that this is a thing, you can compensate for it. Just kind of watch where they're grappling hooking, and then just point where they would have landed, and then they pop back, and then you can shoot them dead. It's cool. The other thing is sound. Now, most of the sounds are really good. For example, like whenever you're flying around, the air, that picks up as you're moving around, that feels good and it really helps for the immersion. The gun sounds, though, and the grappling hook sounds, they're very static right now. There's not a whole lot of like variance in between them. So there's just a lot of very repetitive pow, pow, pow. And the grappling hook, it seems like there is maybe a bug there to where you hear the grappling hook like right next to you no matter where it is in the game. So there's no like variance in how loud it is no matter where they are. That could be wrong on that one, but I just felt like the grappling hook was a little bit obnoxious and a little bit louder than it should have been. So again, little nitpicky things that I'm sure can be fixed. But that is the state of the game as it is right now. Now, this doesn't come out until the 29th. Confirmed, 29th. I also, while confirming that date, read something that I had apparently missed before. They are going to have a gradual price increase. It doesn't say yet what their initial price is going to be. However, that is promising. It seems like they know what the limitations are at first, and they want to help seed the community and keep people going in it, and then gradually increase it going on, which I think is the exact right thing to do for this type of title. Also, they're committing to having regular updates on their development blog where they will announce new features and bug fixes. That is crucial to a title like this, okay? So whenever a game that is a VR multiplayer or anything comes out, they have a chance of just dying and going away and nobody ever hears from them again. So you can judge the quality of a development team based off of things like this. Now, I'm not saying that if a developer doesn't do it, it is bad. I'm not saying that at all. However, it really helps some of these titles to see those updates that are coming through. So that way, if you're on the fence about getting this and you see that, yes, every week they're releasing new updates and it's getting better and better, then it helps people have a little bit more confidence in buying it. So I'm really happy that I saw that, and I'm happy that they're doing it. In summary, I really like this game. I love the potential of what this game will be as it is right now. I'm hoping that they release the game in early access for maybe $5, maybe 10 at the absolute top. And then I would expect that if they add the features that they're talking about, this thing could go into 20, 25, $30 in my opinion and still be absolutely worth it. The gameplay was a thrill. It was so much fun. It just needs more. It just needs something to keep me coming in and playing it. It needs things to keep other people to come in and play it so that I have people to come in and kill. So check it out. There's a link in the description below. Watch their progress. If you're on the fence, then just keep an eye on it, okay? I'm really rooting for this game, and I'm hoping that it becomes something amazing. All right, for now, I'm done here. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please hit the like button below. If you didn't, hit the downvote button and tell me what I can do to make them better. And if you want to see more, hit subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.